Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of SmugMug Live. This is episode 117, streaming live to you today, February the 1st, 2022. Thank you so much for joining us for another show. It's really great to be back doing another tips and tricks episode. As always, SmugMug Live is brought to you by SmugMug and Flickr. If you're looking for somewhere to make your images look the best they can online, to store your images in the cloud, and to have an incredible e-commerce solution, then check out everything we do here at smugmug.com. Or indeed, if you're looking to be inspired in the world of photography, to create connections with other photographers and to share your photography, then check out everything we do at flickr.com. Thank you so much for joining. As I've said, a tips and tricks episode today will be a fairly short one today. Give you a little update on some things that have changed recently on the SmugMug site, and dabble into a few things that I have been asked questions about recently. Of course, the chat window is also live if you're joining us live today, so give yourself a shout out in that chat window. Let me know who's joining today, and of course, if you have any questions, then the chat window is there for you, and I will keep an eye on it over here to my left. And if there's questions that I can cover today, then we'll bring those on screen. This is the first tips and tricks episode of the year. It's been a very busy first month of the year, and it's nice to get some time to get back into the cadence of doing some tips and tricks episodes. As always, I will be using my demonstration site to give you an insight into what we can do with the behind the scenes on SmugMug. I just see some of you joining me in the chat, so thank you. Let's see who's there. Alan, thank you for joining us all the way there in Winnipeg. And Irvin is joining us live from New Orleans, a couple of incredible parts of the world. Feel free to continue giving yourselves a shout out in that chat window, and if you want to chat amongst yourselves, then great. Let's jump over to this site. This is my demo site that many of you will be familiar with. This is episode 117 after all, so if you have not seen the previous episodes, you'll find them on our YouTube page. Many of you are joining us on YouTube today and Facebook, but if you are on the YouTube channel, you will find the rest of the episodes there under the tips and tricks playlist. You'll find all those episodes that are just about how to use your SmugMug site. And also on SmugMug Live, you'll find lots of great guests that I've had over the last couple of years, and of course our SmugMug films to inspire you. Okay, lots of you in the chat now giving yourselves shout outs. Hi Erica, join us from Virginia Beach. Thanks for all the sessions. You are very welcome, Eric. Tom, join us from Central Pennsylvania. Let's see, Mark is joining us from Nebraska. Derek from Ontario. Rick, aloha. I'm assuming Rick is in Hawaii somewhere. Matt, a little bit closer to home to me, is joining us from the Wirral in the UK. Catherine, hi Catherine's from Newcastle upon Tyne. Chris is joining us from Poland. Heidi is in from Los Angeles. Ed is in the mountains of Idaho. Shirley, Cornwall, and Susan, you win the prize for being closest to me in the Gorbals of Glasgow. Right, I will have to stop paying attention to the chat window and get on with the episode, or it will become a long episode. So let's jump over to my demonstration site, AMJ Demo, my demonstration site that we've spent months building and tweaking and breaking and playing about with to let you see everything that SmugMug can do. But I want to jump straight to an update that we have on SmugMug, and we've changed a little bit about this global navigation bar, as we call it. We want SmugMug to be the home for all your assets, so your photos, obviously, your raw files now. If you subscribe to SmugMug Source, you can store your raw files, and of course video as well. It plays a big part of our lives nowadays. So we used to have a section here that was called your photos, and it was where you could see all your photos. We've recently changed that to library, so you can see the section there that is called library. And then we used to have a section over here called photo site, which took you to the sort of website feature of your SmugMug account, rather than saying photo site and photos, which got a little bit confusing. It's now called library and just called site. So anytime you click on site, it will take you to your homepage of your SmugMug site. Let's jump into the library though today. So if we jump into the library, we can see now within the library, this is really going to become the home for everything that you store on SmugMug. Not quite as in-depth as the organizer, where you can manage stuff, but library is really going to become the place you go to find your images and locate all those assets you have stored on SmugMug. So straight off the bat, you can see there's a section here called All Media. So it's showing me everything I have stored, and I've got it ascending by date. So it's got my latest stuff here at the front, and you can see here it's showing me that this image is a PSD file, which we now support on SmugMug Source. I have an RAF file, which is a Fuji format RAW file. I have a TIFF file, and then the JPEG, a couple of JPEGs of those files as well. And then just obviously my library on this demo site isn't particularly full, but it has lots of images in various dates, and you can find those images, and you can search for just photos or video or all media. There's a recently added section where you can see the most recently added stuff that you've put on your SmugMug site. But one of the updates now is this by date section, where you can now look for your photos in a chronological order, searching through by year. And then if you go to the year, you will see the months that you have uploaded photos or video or raw files to your SmugMug site. And then of course you can just drill down through the month and see the dates and see the day that you added those items. So a little bit of an improvement to the library, where you can find your files. Another great improvement to it is we're doing a lot of work on the search feature of the library, where you can really utilize search to quickly find those images rather than going through, just scrolling through by date. If you know a particular image you want to find, then you can search for it. Our search will utilize the keywords, the titles, the caption, and the kind of metadata that you have stored on that file by standard. So any image that you upload that has any of that information, our search tool will use that to find those images. But if you subscribe to Source, our subscription service that allows you to store all file formats, and especially raw format images, we have a built-in feature there, which is AI powered search. So subscribers to Source get the benefit of this AI powered search, which starts to just do really clever stuff when it comes to search. So if I go into this search tab up here and I type in the word tree and I search for tree, then you can see it's it's finding images that have trees in them, even though the word tree is probably not in the title, the caption. Sorry, you can't see that. I should be sharing my screen, and then you can maybe see it better. I'll do that again. If I type in tree up here in the search feature, then you can see that it's now finding images that have trees in it, just using AI to inspect the image and analyze the image for trees, even though in these specific images I don't have the keyword or the title using the word tree. And if we go back to all the media and let's search for water as another example, if I click on here, it's found some galleries that have words similar to water, but it's also finding all the images now that either have water in the title, the caption, the keywords, or that the AI-powered search within Source is analyzing the image for water. So that is our first little improvement and a couple of tweaks to the global navigation on your SmugMug site, where instead of saying photos, it now says library, and instead of saying photo site, it now just says site. And of course, if you click on site, it goes back to the home page of the site. Right, let me see if there are any questions coming in. Lots of people saying hello. Cool, just reading. Okay, so here's a cool question from Matt. Let me see if I can bring that question onto the screen. So Matt asks, if you create a unique page that isn't formatted like the rest of your site, is there a way to produce another page using the same settings, duplicating the page? Unfortunately, at the moment, you can't do that, Matt. I do apologize. Yeah, you're looking to create a page and then say, oh, I'd like different versions of this page. So we don't have a customer-focused way to do that. You might have some success if you reach out to our heroes about that, but we do not have a public tool, if you like, for creating or duplicating pages on your site. Rick asks, let's see if I can find Rick here. Rick says, can we create a home page and an about page? Yes, absolutely. As long as you are on our Power, Portfolio or Pro account, then you can customize as many pages as you like. Rick, I would highly suggest that you go look at past episodes here of SmugMug Live tips and tricks. Just looking at my cheat sheet here of notes, trying to see whether we covered building a home page. Let's see. Yeah, so episode 102, if you go back to episode 102, it's actually a recap of the homepage that we have here and how I built that one, but it will go through all the features. But honestly, if you might want to spend time, Rick, going through past episodes of tips and tricks where we can show you how to build just what you're asking for. Here we have the homepage, and if I click here on the About Me page, then we have a customized About Me page. And you can have as many pages on your SmugMug site as you wish, as long as you're on our Pro, Portfolio or Power account. If you're on our basic account, you can have a customized homepage and a profile, but you can't build a customized about page in the same way that you can do with our other accounts. Let's see. What else? If I go back here, sorry, just going to answer some of the questions because this show works best when you ask questions and interact with me, so that is cool. GR says, when I get a set of search results, I can't seem to advance through only those images that satisfy that search criteria. GR, I'm not sure exactly what you mean by not being able to advance. When you search for those images in the photo site, then it should give you a result based on those that search criteria. I don't know what you mean by advanced. Let me know maybe what you mean by that, and we can move on from there. David, big question here, says, does the search function pick up keywords in an image that have been added in Adobe Bridge or Lightroom as opposed to adding them while uploading to SmugMug? Yes, so David, any keyword or all metadata that is stored in your file is searchable by your search function. When you upload an image to SmugMug, all that metadata goes with it, stays with it, whether it's titles, captions, keywords, no matter where you add that keyword. If you add the keywords in Lightroom and then upload to SmugMug using our Lightroom plugin, or if you export that image as a JPEG with those keywords in it, then upload to SmugMug using some of our other uploading features, all that metadata, any metadata you send to SmugMug is stored there and is searchable. So using our Lightroom plugin is the ideal way to do that. Lightroom is a great way to do keywording on multiple images, and yeah, that all stays with it. And more importantly, if you ever download the image back from your SmugMug account, all that metadata is intact. You get any image you store with us, we store pixel for pixel with all the metadata. We don't strip anything, and you get it back exactly as you uploaded it to us. Let's see, Sarah. Hi, Sarah. She says, I just tried searching my public site and it looks like it still doesn't find names of galleries, file names, etc. Is that coming? Not when you say searching your site, find file names and galleries. Do you mean you were on your site in the search function within the library? Then maybe that is where you should find that. Let's see. David says, thank you. That's great. Thanks. Although I avoid the Lightroom plugin. I wouldn't avoid the Lightroom plugin. It's a great plugin, but everybody has their own way of uploading to SmugMug. But however you export your images, if you're exporting them from Lightroom, as long as you have exported them with the keywords, when you upload them to SmugMug, they will all be there. JR says, search, get results, click on one of those images to see it larger, then it'd be nice to click right and left arrows to go through those images. Sorry, that went away too quick. Unfortunately, when you do it, it will advance to the next photo in the gallery, not the next one in search. That is a very interesting piece of feedback, JR. Thank you for that. This is just this sort of second iteration of the photo library, or the library as it's now called. And I know the team is working really hard on improvements to the library as we speak. So I will definitely feed that back to them, so that when you say advance, you mean advance through the images by right or left clicking, but just contained within the search results. Great feedback. Really appreciate it. And that's one thing I always like to hear is feedback. So we'll definitely get that to the team. Philip says, will you add facial recognition? Now, Philip, I mentioned that we have AI-powered search. So those of you who have subscribed to SmugMug Source, our raw storage, that comes bundled with AI powered search in there. At the moment, we're not doing facial recognition. It is something that, you know, the technology exists. We just have to consider our thoughts on facial recognition as a business and weigh up the pros and the cons. And I know the team are doing that, looking at the opportunities and also the the concerns that facial recognition brings. So stay tuned. We'll probably look at that and give you some update on that in the future. Hi Sarah, thanks for coming back to me. No, like if someone comes to my site and searches, no results are returned. So if you have people come to your site and you do have a search function added to your site and it's not getting any results, it may be because your galleries are unlisted or private galleries. But someone searching your site using the search content block that you can add to your site, they should get any public image and galleries, keywords, that type of stuff. I might not be able to give you the answer exactly that you're looking for today, but of course, please reach out to our customer support team, help@smugmug.com, and they will very, very quickly be on the case and help you directly with your specific problem. I would love to help all your problems live here on the live stream, but unfortunately, there's some things that you might just need a hero customer support team member to go in there and look at. So yeah, reach out to the support team, Sarah. They will look after you very well at help@smugmug.com. Bob asks, if I add a caption in SmugMug, will that be included in metadata if I download an album? That is a great question, Bob. I'm pretty sure we do adjust the metadata stored on your file, but I'm going to be very honest and double check that for you. And I'll reply back to you on Facebook. I see your comments in Facebook, so I'll reply back to you there, Bob. But I'm pretty sure if you add keywords in SmugMug that we add it to the file when you download it. But I will double check that one for you. Right, before any of you asks, oh, Philip's back. So Philip was, I think you were talking about facial recognition. Yeah, for finding family members. Facial recognition, we're pretty used to it now on other devices where we can just say, here's all the images that have Alastair in those images. But of course, to do that facial recognition, then your face has been analysed and that data is being stored somewhere. So as a company, we are looking, as I said, at the pros and cons of facial recognition, looking at the opportunity it might come to make life easier for you, but also doing due diligence in some of the more negative sides of facial recognition. So stay tuned for that one. Let's see, Jack, this is my first time catching you. Where have you been, Jack? You mentioned going to 101 for following up on development on a homepage. Where do I find that? Yeah, Jack, if you're on, so I can see you're on Facebook. So if you go to our YouTube channel, go to YouTube, search for SmugMug. You'll find our SmugMug channel on YouTube. There are several things on there. There are our SmugMug films, which are pieces of inspiration and motivation about photography and some of our wonderful ambassadors. You will find the SmugMug Live playlist, which has all the SmugMug Live videos, but you'll find a playlist that's just dedicated to the SmugMug Live episodes that are tips and tricks. And if you go in there, you will find all the various episodes, and it should say which, and the title should be SmugMug Live episode, 100, whatever you need to look at. And in each of those episodes, there's a little description about what's covered in those. Right, I'm going to go back to the site. I'll keep looking at the questions in a moment. One other thing I wanted to point out is here on the site, right up here in the top right of the site, there's always a section that's called What's New. So whenever you're logged into your site, you're going to see this top banner, the global nav, when you're logged in, and there's always a What's New section up there. If there's something new in there that you haven't read, you'll see the little blue badge here has a number 1 on it. So if I click on that, I'm going to see the release notes of What's New, and indeed those release notes happen to be talking about the global navigation changes that I just covered with, if you see here, you can see we changed photos to library, we changed photo site to site, and those other changes that I spoke about. So What's New is always a good section to keep an eye on when you're logged into your site. Right, what else did I want to cover? There was a couple of things came to me during the week that I thought would be good to cover. Someone was asking me about how to change fonts on the site. How do you pick a font that you want to use in your theme of your site? Now, if you're not familiar with using themes, then go check out episode 77, where I cover themes in detail. But if I go to the section that says customize the design of my site, here you can see we're in the customizer, where we can change lots of things about the site, add elements to the site and customize it. One of those sections just above my head here is called themes, and if you click on theme, let me just move myself for a second as I zoom across the page, just so that you can see the section I'm talking about. So within the themes, you can see all the different themes that you can add to a section of your site. Let me just go in here and edit one of these themes, and what you will see is that you can edit all different parts of the site, and one of the things you can change on your site or within the theme, of course, is the font that you're using within that theme. My header font here is Overlock, and the body font is Railway. But someone's asking me, how do you know which font to use? So I want to highlight this little section down here that says Browse available fonts. And if you just click on the Browse tab, we'll actually take you over to fonts.google.com. I'm going to drag myself back to where I should need to be, which is here in the corner. So if you click on that, browse the fonts, as I say, we take you over here to Google. We have built in all the Google fonts into SmugMug so that you can use all these fonts without any worrying about the licensing or the rights to use those fonts. These are all built into your SmugMug site. I can't remember, I think there's something like 400 fonts that you can use on your site. So this is a great place to look at those fonts and get a real feel for exactly how they look. And you can, of course, change the size of them to see them in different sizes. Let's move that back. And the other great thing is here, if you type something where it says type something, let's call this AMG demo. There we go. Can't spell today. So when you type something in here, the fonts actually change to show you what that actual sentence or word would look like in that font. And then once you've found one that you like, you just remember the name of it, go back to your site, and then you can go back in here and pick that actual font that you want to use. There's that one, Robo Condense, which I saw there. So you can just click on that and change your site to that font. Hit done. Hit the word done up here on the right, hit publish, and that font will be assigned to that theme on your site. A few other things I changed in the background earlier, which have changed the site, but that's okay. Right, let me go over here and see where we're at. Hi Eric, thanks for the question. You have recommended using SmugMug for archive. To do that, should we go through Lightroom plugin, even if some photos are already connected through the Lightroom plugin in another folder? I'll be honest with you, I would never specifically use the term use SmugMug as an archive. I would always say use SmugMug as part of your backup plan or your archiving plan. You want to have your images stored in multiple places, not just on SmugMug, but we can be one of those places where you store your images. If you have a backup in-house and something unfortunate happens to your house, then it's not really backed up. But if you also have a copy off-site, such as on SmugMug, then you have a much better redundancy, much better security in having access to those files. So, but as far as archiving images, if you wanted to use that term, we give you unlimited storage of your JPEG files, and with Source, the ability to store your RAW files. You can upload all your high-res JPEGs to your SmugMug account. You can have them in different galleries and different folders with different permissions. So I have more images on my SmugMug account that nobody can see than public-facing ones. So lots and lots of pictures of my kids, family photos, precious photos, backed up photos that aren't public-facing, just so that I know I have them anywhere in the world where I have internet access. I can get access to those images. I personally love the Lightroom plugin. The part of your question here was, should we go through the Lightroom plugin? You don't have to. I mean, you can just use our web uploader. You can use our uploading app that we have for Windows and for Mac to upload those images if you don't want to do it right through Lightroom. I just love the ability to catalog in Lightroom, edit my images, keyword them, and upload them to SmugMug, and know that those images are synced through Lightroom. But your mileage may vary. You might not want to use Lightroom for whatever reason, but if you are using Lightroom to edit your images, I can see no huge reason not to use that is the way to upload directly to your SmugMug site. Hey Randy, how you doing? Randy is answering Eric. He says, when I upload my images for archive, I use the Windows app as it seems to be much easier to deal with for that activity. Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a much more simplistic approach to just, have your images ready in folders and use the Uploader app to upload those images directly to the site. With the Uploader, you can have, a watched folder. So whenever you put an image in that folder, it auto uploads to SmugMug. You can have auto backupping, that type of thing through the app. So again, with so many customers, we're going to have lots of different use cases and reasons why people want to use the site the way they do. But check out the Lightroom plugin. If you've already got images uploaded to SmugMug without using the plugin's smart enough to see those images and ask you to just confirm that those are the right images that it finds in your Lightroom catalog. The Lightroom plugin is one of the very first episodes of SmugMug Live that I did. It's actually episode 6. So it's a couple, 2 years ago. We did the Lightroom plugin just because it's such a big feature. So myself and my colleague Aaron were on SmugMug Live for about an hour talking about the Lightroom plugin. I need to do a new one because it was the very early days of SmugMug Live when we were still using webcams and weren't quite set up for live streaming the way we are now. So maybe we should revisit the Lightroom plugin. But for all the insight into the functionality of that, go check out episode 6 of SmugMug Live and give you a really good insight into what's capable with that plugin. Let's see. Rick says, can Dropbox be used in conjunction with SmugMug? I think you can upload via our web uploader from Dropbox, but there's no integration between Dropbox and SmugMug. Yeah, you can obviously get images from Dropbox into your SmugMug account, but we don't have a plugin or a tie-in with Dropbox. Eric says, thanks, I do use and like the Lightroom plugin. Cool, I'm glad you love it. Yeah, but if you've already got images uploaded that you didn't use the Lightroom plugin for, we should be able to find them as you're trying to sync a folder or a gallery, and it will let you know that it already has those and ask you to confirm it. Right, a couple of last things before I finish for today. So last shout out for questions, because this will be the last little thing that I want to cover. So let's go back to the site, and I want to go into our account settings. You get into your account settings on your SmugMug site by clicking on the little icon of yourself. If you haven't updated your profile section, then this may just be a silhouette of some random person. Click on that, and then here is where you can go to edit your profile and upload that picture. But you can also go into your account settings. So let's click on account settings and go in here, and I want to show you a couple of things. I want to remind folks, a bit of a selfish plug, but if you want to give the gift of SmugMug, so if there's someone in your life who you think would benefit from having a SmugMug site, you think they should really try it out, then give the gift of SmugMug. If you give someone a SmugMug account, they will get 20% off the first year, or you will get 20% off the first year of that gift of SmugMug. You'll also get 20% referral credits added to your own SmugMug account, so your renewal will be 20% cheaper. If you don't want to gift someone SmugMug, you just want to refer someone, then in your account settings you'll also find your own personal refer a friend code. So do not use this one. This one's mine. I don't need the referral credits. So in your own account you will find your own unique referral code for Refer a Friends. If you know someone who's interested in SmugMug, send them that code and you will get a thank you from us in a way of 20% of whatever the subscription they pay for in their first year. So that is a couple of interesting little features to use if you love our product so much that you want to let other people know about it, and we'd really appreciate that. Something else I'd appreciate is if you're watching us here on YouTube is hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification. That way you'll be notified whenever we release another episode of SmugMug Live. If you're on YouTube and Facebook today, then please hit that thumbs up button, give us a like, and show your appreciation for the channel. It lets other people find the content that we create here much easier by showing that little bit of support. Right, let me just do one last little check through the questions to see if there's anything. Randy, I can always count on you. Still waiting on this C1, the Capture One plugin. Yes, I know we got on about our Lightroom plugin. It is a great feature. I would love a Capture One plugin. We're just at this point unable to make that a reality. Tom says, I also use the Lightroom plugin. This has been very informative. Tom, if you think this was informative, you really need to check out episode 6, because that goes deep into what you can do with the Lightroom plugin. And it's probably a lot more things than you think you can do with the plugin. So check that out. Right, I don't see any more questions in there. So thank you so much for joining me for episode 117. It's good to be back doing some more tips and tricks episodes. I'll hopefully be back same time next week. We try and do tips and tricks on a Tuesday, try and do some other content on a Thursday, whether it be other things that we're doing, competitions, critiques, or indeed having some of our wonderful guests join us on Thursdays. But keep an eye on Facebook and YouTube and our social media for the update. But for now, thank you so much. Hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. We really appreciate it. But wherever you are in the world, thank you for joining. And as always, stay safe, be kind, look after each other, and we'll see you back here for another episode of SmugMug Live very soon. Bye, folks. Bye.